antennas up there all the time. The last couple of years, it's only been about 40 or 50, but, you know, I like to be ready.
I think we're ready to get started with the meeting now. So welcome to the first 2020 January, the first meeting of the year. And we hope everybody had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. And first we will have Carl talk about events.
All right. That's another thing I got up there. Thanks. Oh.
I think you've got a few pages up there.
Santa, oh, a couple pages, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. A couple of things here. The 76 Santa net, I guess, was a raging success. I only got to listen to a very small piece of it because I was so busy the month of December. I didn't get to catch it all. I got on Echolink a little bit and caught part of it. So I hope everybody had a good time. I hope you get your grandkids on there. And like I say, a little bit I heard about it. I heard good reviews. I heard somebody say that Santa should be traveling while he was talking so much, but I guess that comes with, he probably was using a bow thing too.
Hey, if you look on the NORAD tracker, you can see his hand radio antenna.
All right. Well, the big thing is here, and I know that Karen will be happy about this because we tried to pull Lynn tried to pull the date for June 6th for our barbecue. And he was first in the queue on Tuesday morning, or on Thursday morning, I guess it was this morning. He was first in the queue, and they said he couldn't have the date. I go, what? You're first in the queue, couldn't have the date? He goes, there's been somebody campaigning for that date since October for a wedding reception. So we had to move forward or move back. And so I moved back to the 30th, which is right between Memorial Day. I didn't want to move forward because of the because I didn't want it to be the week before field day. A lot of times, a lot of us are doing a lot of last minute stuff, trying to get ready for field day and clean up our antennas and our radios and everything we need to get together for field day. So Saturday, May 30th, Highland Glen Park will be our 76 barbecue. And we've done that for about, you like that, Whitney? I hope that day works for everybody. I know that there was a big event the following weekend. Karen said that she needed some hams. So she was hating life when I told her it was going to be the 6th, so I knew that she was going to be happy. Anyway, put it on your calendar, May 30th, and this is about the, 8th or 9th year. I can't remember how many years we've been doing the barbecue, but I think it's about the 5th or 6th at Highland Glen Park. It's a covered area. Hopefully there won't be snow. Hopefully there won't be rain. Hopefully the weather will be nice. But that is right at the end of May, so put it on your calendar. Hopefully we'll see you there. What's that?
What time?
We haven't really set a time, but generally we usually start at about 10, and we start moving into that pavilion about 10, and get ready to go because the chicken's all pre-cooked, and then we just get a couple of barbecues and heat things up. It's pretty much a potluck deal, and we set up an event station there. Sometimes Phil will bring a fox hunt, some stuff for a fox hunt there, but we always give away some prizes and stuff like that. So bring your family up, and if the weather's nice and warm, it'll be fun to be out at the lake there at the Highland Glen Park. Any other questions? All right, May 30th. Koji. Thank you, Art.
There's no deal? Okay. Go ahead then.
At least you were on the little screen.
Yep, okay. Yeah, I really apologize for the flicker here.
Yeah, I keep thinking the screenslaver is going
Well, the thing is, the sync is off because we had to use the VGA cord because we couldn't find the HDMI cord. So all we have is VGA shunt.
Down there.
Hey, my job is turning it on.
tech support. See if this works any better. If it's not a high-speed HDMI cord, it'll be the same. All right, here we go.
So
Here we
far.
go. Resync. Thank you, Mark. And we have nothing. Hang on.
This was not the weather field day last year.
There we go.
Now let's see if it flickers or not. It might still flicker if it's not at high speed. But anyway, welcome everybody. Thanks again. So we had a really good Christmas potluck dinner last month. It was just like super packed. We had like 110 people show up and even more food, which is a first. Usually we run out of food, and it was pretty amazing. So it was really good. Santa was there, and if you guys saw the newsletter, of course, you know, it had photos from Santa. Thanks to Joe and to Jeff for taking photos, and it was really cool. He did a great job. Everybody just had a great time, I think. So anyway, Christmas potluck. There we go. Did we give everybody door prizes? We did.
Yeah, store prices and games.
All right.
And candy bars.
Candy bars. Okay, so Winter Field Day, January 25th to January 20th. And I stuttered June by mistake, but you know what? It's a Freudian slip because actually last Winter Field Day was warmer than last June's field day by about 10 degrees, I kid you not. So last year, a year ago, during Winter Field Day, we were out at the marina, and I swear it was in the mid-40s to mid-50s, all right? Whereas down in the June field day in Strawberry, I mean, it snowed, it was down to 30s, so, yeah, okay, so 20 degrees, man, it's crazy. So anyway, so it's gonna be nice and warm again. Over at the Linden Marina, you wanna join us, you're welcome to come. We're gonna try to set up 3 stations that we can. It'll be a 3i again for indoor. And we'll set up, well, at least 1 digital station. So I'm glad that Chad's not here to defend himself, but that little,
Little camper.
well, that, I wouldn't call it a camper. That little wheelbarrow that he was in just did not keep him and Ted Cowan warm. Okay, but anyway, so it was a lot of fun. We rented a whole mess of points. It was so cool that we were number 8 in the nation on indoors. It was really good. That was really cool. Kelly said that we for sure will get number 1. She swears she's going to be there the entire 24-hour period to help us. Scott?
I was going to say, didn't Wichita have a heart problem after that?
Oh, that was.
Yeah, that was regular field day in June.
Oh, June, that's right.
That's right, yeah. Ted actually had a heart condition, kind of a heart attack sort of thing on the way home. Man, that would have been bad. But he was driving still. So anyway, so he's doing great. He's recovered. His jolly old self. All right, so again, it'll be at the Linden Marina. We'll do this all over again, and we need help. We're looking for people to transport, we need people to help set up. If you got a travel trailer you want to donate for a night, you know,
There's
let
already,
us use it.
remember that we've got that one.
And we have one down, 2 to go. So we're looking for more help. The travel trailers we had last year, we really couldn't depend on because we don't have any commitments from them, but we will reach out to people like Steve Walters and others to maybe help out. You know, Brad, to do these things, but anyway. Hey, boss. David?
My trailer.
I hear 1, do I hear 2? Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate that. It's always appreciated. We'll try to keep it as clean as we can, you know. I mean, we'll even get down and use pine salt for the mud. Sorry about that.
Won't leave too much pizza laying around the floor.
And you know what? And we're gonna have pizza on the club, so there will be a pizza dinner on Saturday night for those who come.
So can you, those of us that are new, what is field day?
Good, thank you for that question, very good. So, a winter field day and a field day are kind of similar in that what we do is it's kind of a contest. We set up 3 stations in our neck of the woods, and we try to contact as many people in the nation that we can, in the world if we could. I mean, last year, I think we only had 2 DX contacts at the most, okay? The conditions were just not right for DX. But we made a whole slew of national, United States contact, and Canada and Mexico, I think, too. But we try to make as many contacts, and everybody in the country is setting up at the same time we are, and they're contacting us too. So we're going back and forth in this pandemonium contact for 24 hours. We try to rack up points, and we turn our points in, and the people who grade these things will give us an award and say, you are hereby the winner, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what we do. I hand back there, I can't see who the face is. Go ahead.
How do you set up the antenna? How do you deal with that?
The best we can.
Noted your wife has asked that you repeat the questions.
I'm sorry, sorry. So yeah, I need to repeat the questions is what Trevor is saying. And so what the man was asking is, how do you set up your antennas for this kind of thing? And so like my own antenna, what I did was I had 2 military masts, and then, you know, we have pulleys and that sort of thing. I've got a system that I set up, and guy wires, we got like 18 people to help me up. And once we get those up, then we just hoist our dipole or our off-center fed, whatever we have. I think we're going to bring an end fed this time too. So you know, and that's how we do that. We actually will own the marina the whole weekend long during this winter field day, and so we can set up wherever we want on that peninsula, and we can put up masts and that sort of thing. And then a couple of years ago, we did what? We did like a sloper for like against one of our trailers and 1 mast, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how we do that. Does that help? I don't know if that exactly
Well, I'm
answers
just
your
curious,
question.
the rotation of people, the antenna doesn't come down when the next group comes up, so.
Okay, thank you, yes, that does not. It stays up the whole weekend, right? So we set it up typically Saturday morning, and then we'll take everything down on Sunday afternoon. All right. Wendy.
Remember the rule, no paparazzi.
You gotta be important.
All right, so I am so excited for the Utah Valley Ham Fest. That is going to be May 8th, May 9th at UVU. This is our webpage, and it looks fabulous. We have registration available. We have we're going to have classes and vendors. And so I'm super excited. It is the ARRL State Convention for 2020. So we are going to have an ARRL speaker. So you can see a lot of the information that's on the webpage, but because of your attendance here today, I hope. Okay, so the passcode for the discount. Are you ready? Okay, so it's all caps, H, F, 3, S, T. That will get you a $10 discount on your ticket to the Ham Fest.
I knew I forgot something, sorry.
Let's see. What's H?
Hotel.
Hotel. Foxtrot. 3. Sierra. Tango.
And it's actually not case sensitive.
It's not case sensitive. Okay, the man says it's not case sensitive. But that's our password. So if you're in the club, you can get a discount and register online at UtahValleyHamFest.com. There's a registration page. If you wish to, we do have flyers for those who do not want to register online. You can write a check, put it in the mail with a stamp, and we will receive it, and then you will be registered. It is $25 for the entire 2 days.
Okay.
And if you'd like to bring your whole family, it's $40, which is really reasonable. You can still get the $10 discount on the family pass too. So, let's have some questions. Yes, Ralph.
down for help, or do we still need help with things?
If you'd like to help, you can talk to me. I'm the chair for the Ham Fest this year, and we've got lots of activities going to be happening. We've got the classes. We're still looking for some people to lead some classes or discussions, whatever you'd like to call it. Any other questions? Okay. We will be announcing this next month too.
Did you mention that the location has changed?
It says right here, Sorensen
Okay,
Center
yeah.
at UVU. So I talked to UVU today, and we are definitely in the Sorensen Center.
It's in a ballroom, isn't it?
There is a ballroom, there's classrooms, there's a little stage, and the Reagan Theater. So that's where we're going to be, in those rooms. So we'll have 4 or 5 tracks where we can have different classes at the same time. And it goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Now, our guest speaker is Dave Kassler. He's from Arizona. And his bio's on our webpage.
He's in Colorado.
Colorado, sorry. He has a YouTube channel. And so he will be speaking on Saturday morning. So you kind of can look at the schedule. The schedule's up to preliminary schedule, I should say. We've got some sponsors, we've got vendors lined up, so any other questions? All right, I will put, for those of you who want to do paper, I'll put these on the back table. Thanks. And Karen's up.
Happy birthday, Karen!
Thank you. We were trying to keep that under wraps.
Nobody heard it.
Is that 29 again?
Yes, 21 and holding. Okay, so service opportunities. This is one of my goals. I like to get out into the community and work a lot of events, and we do that through our UCares group. So we would really like to see our UCares group grow. And I know that most of you know that we meet out in Utah County out at the Sheriff's Station. So to kind of help and grow our UCares group, we are actually going to kind of split the year in half. We are going to do half of the year in Utah County, so the odd months, or even months, is down at the Sheriff's Station. And the odd months are now going to be at Lehigh. So starting this month on January 7th, we'll be having our first UCares meeting out at the station number 83, which is the new station out at Traverse Mountain. And it's really nice, and it's got a nice parking lot, and it's easy to access for Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain. It's an easy on, easy off on the freeway, so I hope you guys will come on out and see us. We've got a lot of events that are going to start coming up, like Carl said. We've got Orem Fest, the Summer Fest, Squaw Peak 50, and Springville Parade, all on June 6th. Squaw Peak 50, for those that are not familiar with Squaw Peak 50, it is an all-day foot race. It's an ultra marathon that happens up Provo Canyon, and it takes quite a few hams to help out with that. Orem Summerfest is a parade and also fireworks, so we need hams to help out there. And then Springville Parade is usually in the morning, and we'll need ham support there also. We'll have the Provo Freedom Festival that will be coming up in July 4th. That takes about 30 to 50 hams that we need, sometimes even more. So if you guys really enjoy getting on the radio and you want an awesome spot to watch the parade, we'll be asking for help as soon as we get going with that. Then again, you've got Katina Mosa in August and Wonder Woman coming up in October. One other thing I want to mention that I don't think is on here is TERT. We're starting the new year, and we really need a lot of TERT members. So if you enjoy being on your ham radios and you enjoy camping, if you enjoy hiking, that's another aspect to the TERT team. But mostly it's ham radio and camping. We go up to Timpanogos and we help out at Timpanoogie, Aspen Grove,
Stewart Falls.
and Stewart Falls.
And Mountain.
And yeah, hiking up the mountain. We have a team that goes up and spends the weekend up there. So give you an opportunity to come out and sit at trailheads and talk to people and tell them about the conditions. And Aspen Grove, every once in a while, we have a couple little friends that come by, as in deer and moose. So you get to see the wildlife too. So is there any questions on anything that I've talked about?
You have to have Tuesday evenings free to do anything with UCARES, right?
You have to have what?
Tuesdays? free?
Tuesday evenings is when our meetings are normally held. And then one other thing I forgot to mention in regards to UCARES, we are still holding meetings out in Eagle Mountain also. So we'll be in Eagle Mountain on January 9th. So if you live out on the west end of the lake, you're there and want to join us in Eagle Mountain, you're welcome to come out on the 9th.
Is there any way to participate if you can't make any of those Tuesdays?
Yeah, you can join the group, you know, fill out your information form and send it to us. If you can't make the meetings for other commitments and things like that, we understand. You know, but it keeps you into the loop as to what's coming up. And we're also this year trying to get for those that aren't familiar with UCARES, we also have the SCAT team, the Sheriff's Communication Auxiliary Team. So on calls that we are actually called out to, if it's something that we're able to, we're going to be making a list and having some of the UCARES members come out and join us on these call outs and that. So we need to grow our group and, you know, it's fun. Get out on our radios and practice. Come out to the emergency operations centers and see how those are run. Any questions?
What do you do with the UCARES meetings?
UCARES meetings is just a setting like this. It's our interface meeting. It's the first Tuesday of every month. And we have different topics that we talk about. We do have some build nights. I know in Scott, he can tell you, he is our UCARES person. He puts our classes together, but I do, if my mind remembers right, that coming in February is the National Weather Service coming out. And we'll be having that meeting out in Spanish Fork. But just different topics. Any other questions? Okay, so Noji, you're up. Again.
So one of the traditions we have in this club is that we like to make sure that people understand that we're not exclusive, except during field day. So just a little competition there, but we're brothers and sisters in the ham world, and so we like to celebrate and welcome any ham in our state, in our region, even who is with us to talk about things, and so. Every so often we like to invite people from another club to come and we spotlight those people. Tonight we are actually spotlighting the Utah DX Association. So John, could you kindly come up for just a second, please? And also anybody here who's from the Utah DXA, could you please stand just for a moment, please, so we can see who you are. We welcome all of you, and you're welcome here anytime. I'm going to let John say a few words. Go ahead, John.
Well, I'm also going to be the presenter today on the benefits of upgrading. So I think what I'd like to do is call them up after I'm done. I have just a couple of slides, and we can kind of just have a real quick chat about the DX Club and let you guys know more about it.
Thanks. Okay, I think this is the last thing here, and that is Karen. Please don't sing, but I want to give applause to Karen. So happy birthday, Karen. Okay, this is the last one. Lauren's up.
Sorry, we're planning to take a long time. That's all right. Let's do it.
All right, another thing we like to do is recognize our new hams and those who have upgraded during the last month. So, congratulations to these new hams. Are there any here tonight? You want to stand up so we can see that?
Stay up. Get back up. You may sit after the flash. There we go.
Okay, we have another page. And these, any of these here? All right. That's a good call. Okay, and these upgrades, Phil, Greg, and Carl. Any of those here? Greg got their extra. That's awesome. So, anyway, congratulations to everyone. I'm glad to see our club growing and radio community grow. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. I just need to make sure I can get to my PowerPoint here. Let's see here. All right, you can see it here somewhere. There it is. That looks like it. All right. We are QRV. Who knows what QRV is? Come on. Ready? We're ready to operate. We are QRV. Very good. I'm John Mitton. I'm glad to be here. We have till 7:45, right?
You can go to 7:50.
7:50-ish? Okay, I'll keep an eye on the call. John Mitton, KK7L. I got that call sign when I was 17 years old. They were just starting to give out 2x1 call signs for extra class, and so it's kind of a fun little call sign I've had for a long time. I won't tell you when that was, but it was in the late 70s. I've been pretty active in ham radio. I had a great time when I was a kid. Back in the day, as many of you probably remember, you had to know Morse code to get your license, and then to get on up through the ranks, you had to go from 5 words a minute to 13 and then to 20 words a minute. And I remember my dad driving me up to Portland. I lived in Salem, Oregon, to take the exams. And more often than not, I got through it. Sometimes I'd get the code, but not the theory. Anyways, it's a different ballgame today. And, I was into the hobby for a while, and then, life just kind of catches up with you, and I just kind of got out of it for a while. We ended up raising 5 kids and so on. And then when we moved out to Saratoga Springs, I thought, I want to get back into this hobby again. I had so much fun with it as a kid. And so bought an old transceiver, and you're going to see my antenna and stuff because I'm in an HOA. Oh, now what do we do? What do we do? I can't put up a tower and stuff. So I'm already upgraded to extra class, and I just made it a point every 10 years to renew that license, okay? But hey, congratulations on the new hams. I assume you have your technician class, right? Well done. That's really cool. We're going to convince you this time to get to your general. You ready? All right. So let's kind of look at, as you look at the licenses that have been issued by the FCC and that are currently active, if you look on the left there, nationwide, it's kind of hard to see, maybe you can see it back there, but about 51% of all licensees are technician class. Makes sense. It's the easiest one to get. You can immediately use, a lot of the aspects of the hobby. You're on your HTs. You can work the repeaters. You can, with the technician class, there's lots you can do, right? But if you're really into HF, and like I am and others, you need to get that general ticket. And then it used to be we had novice, and believe it or not, there's still some novices that are still alive. There was also the advanced class. Do we have any advanced class here? We have an advanced class license. How about that? So they don't issue those anymore, but that was the step between general and extra, and they still have those licenses out there. There's been some talk of grandfathering advanced into extras, so we'll be rooting for you to have to take the test. That'd be nice. But now you look over at the Utah licenses, and what do you see? We see a lot of technicians in Utah, and I can understand that. I'm a member of the Latter-day Saint Church, and I know a lot of LDS congregations, stakes we call them. They've been encouraging for emergency preparedness people to get their technician class, and it's been a tremendous boon to our hobby in this area. Because you've got a lot of people now that are getting their feet with amateur radio. They've been studying at least enough to memorize some questions and answers to understand a little bit about the hobby. And I hope you guys are having a lot of fun. I assume there are a lot of technician class licensees in the room as well. But you think about it, and you're missing out a lot on the hobby. Today, for the next half hour or so, I'm going to kind of briefly go through some of the fun things you're going to miss out on if you don't upgrade. And those who have your general license, I'll talk a little bit about why it's nice to upgrade to extra as well. Well, when you boil it all down, the reason to upgrade is right here. Everybody recognize this little chart? Have you seen this before? Okay. This is the United States allocation of band plan per license, okay? And what I've done here is I've circled in yellow the fact that technician classes actually do have some privileges on the HF band. So now you remember when you took the test, HF stands for high frequency, VHF, very high UHF, okay? VHF, UHF, so everything of 6 meters and above on that far right column down there, technician class, you can have full privileges. You can do a full kilowatt, all right? It's really quite a nice allocation for you. But if you want to get into the HF bands, and what is LF? Low frequency, okay, and what ham bands are LF, guys, folks? 160 meters, and we have 2 new allocations that just came out a couple of years ago. These are like really low frequencies. If you want to construct a dipole, it would take up most of Warm to construct a dipole. But those are really low frequencies, and you get to broadcast a whopping 1 watt. How about that? But actually, it's kind of a fun allocation. There are guys out there that are doing it with big coils for antennas and stuff, and working 1 watt and trying to go more than 1,000 miles and stuff. But anyway, that's definitely LF. But when we're talking about LF, we're talking about 100 meters, and 80 meters kind of fits into that as well. It's essentially 3 megahertz and below is LF. So the technician class actually has some allocation that you're only able to operate on CW. What's CW?
Morse code.
Morse code, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But you're able to do Morse code on many of the bands. And what's kind of fun is the FCC gives you almost full access, for at least what matters, on the 10-meter band. So you can actually do digital modes, you can do CW, and you can do single sideband on 10 meters as well. The only downside is that the sunspot cycle, we're right at the bottom, and 10 meters is abysmal. Okay? But I'll get into that in a minute. You can still work DX on 10 meters. We'll talk about that soon. So let's talk about why HF and LF matters. Now, even the technicians in the room, you all remember, at least memorizing the question about the ionosphere. Remember about the ionosphere? So what's great about it is, as nicely pictured here, HF and LF, you need those modes when you don't have a repeater, right? Because your VHF, UHF, it's just going to go right on out into space, right? Unless there's a repeater there to catch it and relay it to another station of considerable distance. So the nice thing about HF and LF as well is you can get some very good distance and very reliably from your radio, and you don't need to worry about if there's a repeater nearby or not, okay? And there's a whole aspect of the hobby that we DXers are into that we'll talk about as well. It's just a lot of fun on HF. So, Noji asked me to talk about the benefits of upgrading. So what I thought I'd do is just kind of do, in no particular order, I've got 10 benefits of why you should upgrade, okay? Let's talk about the first one. In a regional disaster, such as the California wildfires that occurred a couple of years ago, let's just read this. This came right out of the 2018 annual report of the ARRL. During those California fires, HF WindLink, you all know what WindLink is? We'll talk about WindLink in a minute, but it's a way to do email over ham radio, basically, right? So the HF bands was the go-to mode as fire damaged several repeaters, and no repeater path exists to the Gold County region of the Red Cross. So when the hams were activated in those areas, it was all about HF. They had to bring it, they brought it, you remember we talked about field day? It was another field day, hey, come on out, get out your generators, put up your funny wire antennas, whatever it takes, let's get on HF and let's start sending some messages. What's nice about WindLink is you can even send spreadsheets and stuff, right? Maybe you have a list of supplies you need. But you're not going to do that over a repeater, you're not going to do that over a microphone. Get it on a spreadsheet, send it over HF WindLink, and you can just send it almost anywhere in the country, right? So that was really cool. Also, the amateur bands and the HF bands were essential in the hurricanes. If you look at what's happened in Puerto Rico, in the Florida Panhandle area, that was all about HF. Those disaster response teams were essentially using HF with some VHF, UHF for some of the more local contacts, especially using packet, again, to send those data files. So there's your benefit number one. Now let's talk about, let's kind of broaden this a little bit. You remember the Nepal earthquake that happened a few years ago? Amateur radio played a very significant role in the first 3 or 4 days after that disaster. There are a handful of Nepalese amateur radio operators who immediately got on HF, and the first contact they made was very interesting. It was made with a serviceman in Afghanistan, in one of our military bases there, who has an HF setup. So this serviceman started getting regular schedules with the amateur radio club at the university in Kathmandu. And he started taking down all this information that he could pass on, lists of survivors and supplies needed, and that sort of thing. He ran it through the military system to get those supplies around the world back to those who are in need. So it's quite interesting how that worked. And then the Nepalese amateurs got up and they set up regular traffic nets on 14 and 21 megahertz. Again, you got to upgrade to get to those bands. And over the first few weeks, over 500 messages were sent and received. Now, what was an interesting lesson learned there is the Nepalese amateurs did not have any digital mode capability, okay? So they were unable to send spreadsheets. They were unable to send documents. But you know what they did use, which was kind of cool. We'll get to that in a minute. They used slow scan television, which you can do over HF. So they're able to show some still photos of some of the damage and that sort of thing. And if you remember, the news broadcast had some really grainy photos of what was going on. That all came out of amateur radio and slow scan television over HF. So there's, who thinks that this can't happen in the Wasatch Front? Okay, so imagine a regional disaster here, what might happen to our repeaters. We need to have the experience on HF to be able to take care of those situations. Now, operating portable is another great benefit of upgrading to general or extra class. Here I am. We talked about winter field day and summer field day. There's another outdoor activity that's a lot of fun, and that's the 7:30 QSO party. You all notice you have a little 7 in your call sign? That's because you're in one of the western states other than California that's a 6. They can have their own call sign. The 7:30 QSO party is a lot of fun. Amateurs get out into the field, or you can just operate from home. And again, as Noji mentioned, it's just this craziness of how many can we contact as quick as we can. So I've been out on 7QP a few times. It's a lot of fun. And what I did last year was I decided, I'm going to see if I can do this all on my own. I didn't bring any friends. My wife didn't come. She tolerates ham radio, but she's not really into it. So I thought, I'm just going to take my little 17-foot trailer. I'm going to find a county line. Why? Because counties are multipliers in the contest, right? So let's say you have 300 contacts, but you contacted so many counties, then you multiply it and you get a bigger score, right? So when you're on a county line, you're like everyone's friend. Oh, KK7L, I want to talk to you, right? So I go out onto the county line, and I set up I've got a generator that runs on propane or gasoline, which is kind of cool, easy for me to set up. I set this whole thing up in about an hour. Now, you see that antenna? I'm sorry, it's kind of difficult to see. I took it kind of late at night just as I was setting it up. But it's a telescoping pole basically on a tripod, and the antenna wire basically loops up and around so that I can crank it to the right length. Does that make sense? For whatever band I'm on, I can crank it out longer if I'm going down to 80 meters. I can crank it shorter if I'm on 20 meters. And it has an elevated radial that I can also crank to get to the right length. So I'm perfectly resonant. I don't need a tuner, okay? So that's a great little performer. I took that out there. I also took a long wire, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and you might be using that at Winter Field Day. I'll say you because UDXA, we're doing our own Winter Field Day. We'll see if we can skunk you. But anyway, I took that in the long wire, and look, I made 534 contacts in 17 hours. It's an 18-hour contest, but I slept in. And I won first place for County Line operation. You can put this fun little thing on the wall. So this is another really fun aspect of upgrading. When you get to your general extra class, you start playing on the HF bands, there's lots of fun contests that you can enter. You know, plaques don't come easily because you have to win. I won it for the entire 7th call district for a single operator. But you know, you can get certificates and all kinds of stuff, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And it's neat because every year you kind of talk to the same guys again. Hey, where are you operating this? You know, on a QSO party, it's just what it says. You're having QSOs, you're having fun. So that's another reason you might want to upgrade. Okay, now we're going to talk about revision.
Oh, yeah.
DXing is a lot of fun. DX meaning distance and so on. The ARRL, by the way, I hope you're all members of ARRL. If you're not, it's $35. It's the best $35 you'll ever spend. You get these wonderful magazines, QSD, and by the way, there's a new magazine coming out called On the Air. So if you'd rather not take QSD because it's a little too technical and gets into nerdy stuff you're not interested in, if you're new to the hobby, sign up with ARRL and check the box that you want to get On the Air. It comes out every other month. I haven't seen one yet because January will be the first edition. But anyway, I digress. The ARRL has a program, yes.
And you can still access QSD online anyway.
That's right. All members get both of them online. Good point. ARRL has a program called the DX Century Club. Who's heard of this before? Great. A lot of you, I'm preaching to the choir. This is a great award to go after once you're on HF, but actually you don't have to go. We'll talk about it. It's possible to get this on VHF, UHF. How? Randy, how do you do it?
Bounce off the moon on 2 meters.
You bounce off the moon on 2 meters. No
You're
kidding.
a technician too.
And you can do that as a technician. There are technicians that have this, believe it or not. I don't know, that's a lot of work. But with the DXCC, it basically, you count how many countries you're able to confirm. And you confirm by getting these bad boys. Have you ever seen these before? QSL cards? Now I'm going to kind of send these around. I'd like them back, but I'll kind of split them up and you can kind of send them. There you go. There are 2 ways to confirm a contact. You can either send your QSL card out with a self-addressed stamped envelope, or there are other ways you can online just send a little PayPal, a few bucks to cover postage and that sort of thing. There's lots of ways to get these. So you can either do it with paper or you can do it electronically. There's what's called the Logbook of the World. So once you sign up with the Logbook of the World and they verify that it's really you, you can actually upload your log files. And all your counterparties, they're uploading log files. There's over 1 billion records now in Logbook of the World, and you can match them up that way too. For my DXCC, about half of them were paper and half of them were over the Logbook of the World. But anyway, that's a really fun award. There are other awards you can get too, worked all continents. That's probably the easiest one to get. You'll see in there a QSL card from Antarctica. It's a fairly easy continent, believe it or not, to get. And why would that be? They have nothing else to do down there. They play radio, right? There are 40 zones that the CQ magazine is divided up over 50 some odd years ago. They decided they'd divide up the globe into zones. That's a fun one to get. I've got 39 out of 40. I still got to work Egypt to Sudan, that area. Man, that's a hard one to get. But anyway, it's really fun. And what's really great about it for me, what I've learned and many DXers learn, is that you just get to get some really nice lifelong friends. Let me explain. Let's look at the one at the top there, 3A2 AD. That's Laura in Monaco. Is Monaco a rare country? You better believe it. It's a tiny little country on the south of France. There are 2, count them, 2 amateur radio operators in that little country, and she's one. And I contacted her when I was a kid. And my mentor contacted her. Anyway, to make a long story short, when my wife went out there on a little trip, we visited with her. She had us over for dinner. We had a great time. Over on the left there, that's 3D2AG. That's Antoine in Suva, Fiji. I've gotten to know him really well. Why? Because I have a client in Australia. So when I go to Australia to visit my client, whether the past 4 trips, I've made it a point to fly on Fiji Airways, right? So I go to Fiji, I meet up with my friend Anton, we get talking, and he says, hey, there's this little island called Tuvalu. Have you ever heard of Tuvalu? It's the .tv domain. That's where they get most of their revenue for the country. besides fishing. It's right on the equator. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute. But he encouraged me to go to Tuvalu because no one had been there for a few years. It's really a hot spot for DX, and so I went there and I had a great time. And what did I do? I trained this guy here. This is Akinalutili. It's this little island country of Tuvalu. He's the only licensed amateur radio operator, and I trained him. I had a great. He was a CB operator. Had a little, we call it 11 meters, right? 11 meter operation. And my friend Jared, M7SMI, went out there. We had a little de-expedition, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I think you get the idea, right? Amateur radio is a great way to not only get these cards, but keep in touch with people and make friends all over the world. A lot of people ask, well, wait a minute, I live in an HOA, I can't put up towers like this, how am I ever going to get into DXing? Well, that's not actually true. So getting back to my move to Saratoga Springs, so I decided I want to get into amateur radio, and I know I'm right on the lake, which is really great for DXing, right? Nice takeoff angle for HF signal. So I bought a flagpole antenna. I could have made it, but I didn't really have the time. So I bought this 24-foot flagpole antenna. You can buy it from 05 Antennas. And it comes all ready-made, ready to put together. It comes with a Anan, a 9-7-to-1, 9-to-1 Anan, and so on. And so what I did is I put radials, before I put the saw down, I just put down 33 wires in a nice, circular configuration. And that gave me a fantastic ground plane, right? So now I've got this antenna. The only problem is it's only resonant on one frequency, and it's not even a ham band. So I do have to use a tip. And darn with that thing, though, look at that. I've got 249 DXCC confirmed. One more to go, 248 confirmed. But a couple more to go, and I can get a 250 sticker, which would be a lot of fun to put onto this certificate. So DXCCs are basically sovereign nations or far-flung territories. All right? So like Guam counts, Puerto Rico counts, Mariana Islands. Does that make sense? American Samoa counts. So, France has lots of them, French Polynesia and that sort of thing. So it's not just countries, but it's also, far-flung territories. And so I've had a ball just DXing for the past, I've only been doing this about 5 years. I joined the UDXA, got lots of good mentoring from the guys in the club. And there I am. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I decided, how fast can I get to DXCC? And I got it on the wall in 152 days. So hopefully that's encouraging for you too. If you want to get into DXing, certainly we can help mentor you on this. I love this photo. There's a DX conference every year in Visalia, California. And I just sat next to this guy. We were just chatting away. And I said, well, what do you have for a rig? Most people there have this. These guys are serious DXers. He says, no, I've just got a little G5RV wired antenna inside my house. I said, what? He said, yeah. And I said, I'm just operating 100 watts. He lives in Boulder, Colorado. But look at this. He's worked all states, on all modes, right? SSB, CW digital. He's got 180 or so DXCC. I don't know how his wife puts up with that, but look at that. Pretty amazing, right? So if you put your mind to it, you can have a lot of fun. You can get these fun QSL cards from around the world, and you can chase your certificates. I want to talk a little bit about antennas. Noji mentioned an end-fed half-wave antenna. These are becoming really popular, especially in an HOA environment. So you see that little, that's the one on the top right here. When you end feed an antenna with a ground, all right, and you cut it, were you here when Nochi cut his 8-meter antenna, or 6-meter antenna, remember that? If you cut it, just right, it'll be resonant on not only that band, but on its multiple as well. So that's the beautiful thing about the HF bands. We have 3.5 megahertz, 7, right? 14, 21, 28. So with that one antenna, you're resonant on a lot of bands. So it's really convenient, especially when you're doing portable operations. I actually have one of these running from my house up to the flagpole and then down to a tree, and you can hardly see it. But that's an idea you might want to think about. If you want to get an HF, there are a lot of these end-fed antennas. Myantennas.com is a good place to get them. They're like 150, 60 bucks. Or make your own. You'll wind a hun, homebrew your own, put it in a waterproof enclosure, go to the hardware store and cut a wire and so on. So there are a lot of options that you can do for antennas. Now, we talked about the thrill of chasing DX. Let's talk about the thrill of being the DX. As I told you, I've now made 4 trips to this really rare DXCC, fairly rare DXCC, called Tuvalu. Now, that's our QSL card on the bottom right corner there. That's a photo taken during their National Independence Day. They were a British Commonwealth country as well, and gained independence. So Jared and I, N7SMI, he lives up in Smithfield. He would have loved to join us, but it's a long drive. But he's a de-expeditioner. He likes to go out on these de-expeditions. And anyway, we went to Tuvalu and we had a ball. We made thousands of contacts. And he's also been out to the Marquesas Islands. Have you heard of that? It's one of the French territories out in the Pacific. It counts for DXCC. Pretty rare. And I asked him to send me a recording of what's called a pileup. Have you ever heard pileups or worked a pileup? When you're in a rare country and you set up shop, suddenly the whole world is your friend. They all want to contact you to get your card, right? Or to get you on Logbook of the World. So here he is. Here's Jared in the Marquesas on SSB, on voice, all right? I like to work CW, Morse code, and those pileups are crazy too, but just to give you an idea. Can you pick out any call signs? I think you get the idea. It's kind of like being, imagine being in a football stadium and everyone's shouting your name, or shouting their name, expecting you to hear their name. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. So de-expeditioning is really great. Jared went to a really fun place called Willis Island. It's off the coast of Australia. Remember, far-flung territories count. I think it has to be 300 kilometers or further, something like that. Well, Willis Island is beyond the Great Barrier Reef, out into the Pacific Ocean. And he went on a de-expedition there. And if the moon and stars align just right, I'll be able to show you a YouTube of this de-expedition. It's really short. Okay, I gotta move it over, right? Oh, there we go. There it is. Now we're getting there. So to get to Willis Island, you have to go to Cairns in northern Australia and hire a boat. Okay, and so you go with a group. With these de-expeditions, usually are anywhere from a half dozen to a dozen or more. Usually guys, boys with their toys, retired with money. Jared's not retired, but and they'll put up $10,000 a whack or to 20,000 to go out to these really, really rare locations. So I thought you'd enjoy a little video they put together of Willis Island. There's 3 islands. There's the Northern, Mid, and Southern Caye, they call it. The Northern Island actually has an Australian research facility there, a meteorological agency or something. So they told him to get his permit, because it's an ecologically sensitive area, these expeditions take years to plan. They got permission to go to the Middle Island. Why? Because no one had been there for a long time, and they wanted to do a research study of the turtle population or something like that. Well, anyway, this is a really cool video. I hope it plays okay. All right. There it is. Bing. So the boat is just offshore. That's their only lifeline, right? So they're those telescoping mast antennas, like I think He knows the ladder being used for the tower. We just had to go to the local Home Depot, in Australia to pick all that up. Jared swears it wasn't his idea to put the beam up right above the tents. Yeah, pretty cool. Jared was saying that the reason they went to Willis it had been like 4 or 5 years between their trip and someone having gone there. So there was a big need in the DX community for it. All right. Are we back? Okay. So that's a lot of fun, de-expeditioning. But you can also create your own little pile-ups here. There's a program called Summits on the Air. Do you know Ryan W7 ODX? I think he's in the club. He's the first in Utah to get what's called the Go Award. But basically, I think you're probably familiar with that. That's a fun way to kind of get in shape, take your radio up portable. You see his little portable HF setup he's got there. You get more points if you do it in the winter. There he is at 11,000 feet in the snow and so on. So that's part of it as well. Let me give you another interesting reason that you may want to get involved with the HF bands. I talked about going to Tuvalu. I've been there 4 times. Well, once we got our first amateur radio operator going there, we started realizing, hey, HF radio is actually pretty common in these remote parts of the world, right? Where you don't have cell coverage, you don't have even landline service. So HF marine radios, right, are quite common. And so the bottom left corner is actually a picture of an administration office of the dominant Christian church there. They have HF radios on all the islands. Every pastor has one so they can talk to each other because the phone service is so unreliable. Well, I got an idea. Jared and I were thinking, hey, what if we could bring these guys WinLink, right? So that's what we did. We helped them secure a grant from the government of Canada to buy backdoor modems on all the islands. And I went out there last June and we got them all trained up, and now they can send email along with attachments to these very, very remote island locations where they have their congregations. Pretty cool. Here's another fun thing you can do with HF. You can experiment with antennas and propagation. The digital modes are just taking off like crazy now, and we don't have time to talk about it today, but there's one mode called the Weak Signal Propagation Reporter, WSPR, WHISPER, okay? The weak this reporter system basically allows you with your HF rig, you can be a monitor, you don't have to be licensed, you can be a monitor hooked onto the internet, listening for these really weak stations and posting the signal report. Or if you're licensed, you can also send a weak signal. Well, do you remember I told you I have the flagpole antenna and I have the long wire? I thought, well, I wonder which one works better on 80 meters, right? Well, with WHISPER I can do that, okay? So I send out a beacon for 4 minutes on the long wire, the vertical, that's in blue. Then I send out a beacon for 4 minutes on the long wire. So which one's better on 80 meters? I've color coded them to make it easy. Yeah, the long wire, hands down. And it's interesting, these are just a few. I mean, I had like 20 reports, so I just thought I'd throw a few up there for you. So the KD2 and the W2, those guys are out in New York, New Jersey area, so they're kind of one of the further ones that I got. They show that, I'm doing better. But what was very interesting was this W07I. He's in Winnemucca, Nevada. It made a huge impact on the close-in stations. I thought that was interesting. But that's one thing you can do. Build antennas, see how they perform. While we're on the topic of digital modes, and I promise I'll finish in 5 minutes. Is that cool? Okay. While we're on the topic of digital modes, The best digital mode of all is CW, the original digital mode. CW is a lot of fun, and hey, technician class operators, you can learn it right now. I'll talk about CW in just a moment. We talked about slow scan television. That's a very old digital mode that continues to be very popular. FT8 right now is taking the world by storm. I don't have time to talk about it. It's a great way to with 50 watts in the wire to get one of these on your wall. It's almost cheating. And then, as Randy described, Earth. Now, the moon bounce you can do as a technician, right? And you can also do like International Space Station SSTV passes. Anyone can listen to those. Here's another. I've got 2 more quick to go. My friend Jared again up in Smithfield. He decided to hone his programming skills, Arduino programming skills, and his electronic skills. He thought he'd make himself a little balloon launch, and so that's what he did. So you see the little payload under there. It's just a tiny little thing with solar panels on it. He got together his son's 4-H club, and they set that thing up, and they tracked it over Whisper. Remember Whisper mode? Now, the payload on that is 10 milliwatts. That's 1/100th of a watt. And he got signal reports as far as Australia. But you see how he's able to track it, because in the Whisper mode you can send your call sign and you can send in your location, and there's room for another thing, and he put altitude on that as well. So you can track the altitude, lat, and longitude. And it was a great learning experience for these kids. Great way to introduce amateur radio. And the final benefit that I want to share with you, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up, is that if you don't upgrade, you can't help out with the licensing process for your fellow amateur radio operators. So general class, you're able to administer tech licenses. If you get your extra, you can do all. Oh, and advanced, you could administer general and advanced as well. The ARRL also has emergency communications courses, and you can be an examiner for that as well. All right, quickly, so what do you want to do? Get your feet wet, right? Your technician class, get an HF radio, start playing around. 10 meters can be a lot of fun. I know the bands are really terrible because the sunspot cycle is really low for the next year or two, but hey, there are openings on 10 meters to South America all the time. You just got to be there to work them. You can learn Morse code. And one thing that I would encourage you to do is we have an area slow speed CW net that gets on every week, and I would like to ask Ralph to just stand up and give a 10-15 second about what it's all about. He was one of our recruits.
Yeah, so, I mean, the bottom line is, if you have any CW inclination whatsoever, come join us. Tuesday night, 8 p.m., 3.555. It doesn't matter if your code is terrible or not. Just come and join us. We'd love to have you. Even if all you do is just get on, identify yourself with your call sign. When it comes back around to you with net control, just when it's your turn to say something, just say pass. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. That's it. And then you can participate. You have a question, Laura?
Is that a portion of the band that technicians?
Yes, technicians can operate there. That's why we chose it.
So the bottom line is, come join us. Tuesday night, 8 p.m., 3.555, QRSnet. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we try to keep it around 10 to 12 words a minute. And then there's online CW Academy and that kind of stuff. This goes without saying, study, find an Elmer. Within the club, there are a lot of people I'm sure that would love to help you. I've put here the links for Noji's website where you can learn, where you can get the training information. And then the final step is, just get involved. You're already a member of this club. If you have an inclination to learn about DXing, the Utah DX Association, we meet on the third Wednesdays. We'll spotlight that in just a moment. And then I want to make a little plug for the Utah Digital Communications Conference. Who's been to one of those before? Those are a lot of fun. We're in our fourth year now. That's coming up next month at the Utah Miller Conference. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the bands.
Before John gets away, I wanted to say thank you so much to John and the UDXA people who came and present John with this rare and wonderful pen that says UVARC right up.
Wow, thank you.
information on the UDXA. If you'd like it, come get a card.
Okay, we're gonna make this really quick. We only got a few minutes. Door prizes. Who does not have a ticket? I mean, not on the way here. I mean, outside here. To expedite this, let me just show you a couple of things we're going to have tonight. Number one of the grand prizes is this wonderful, unique antenna. I mean, who wouldn't want to try doing DX with this? I'm not saying anything, but you know what? You can always try. This is one of our grand prizes. Pakros J-Pole. Another one is a Balfang. This is a UV82. It's compliant. And one of the grand prizes. Those are the two grand prizes we're going to select. So in order to make this all fair, we're going to first select the two grand prizes, put them away in a hidden container. So, Karen, are you our picker for tonight? Karen's our picker for tonight. And so she's going to pick the two grand prize winners right now.
Maybe you better let me get out of here before you call him. There's one.
All right.
There's two.
All right, very good. Thank you, Karen. Okay, so now we'll move on with the grand prizes here. Let me just tell you too, we have, really quickly, we have this, thank you again to John, the Complete DXer's Handbook. If you ever wanted to get into DX and want to know everything about how to get involved, this is the book to get. That's one of them. As usual, we have the ARRL 1-year membership, which is either brand new or renewal. We've got Super Duper Keen flashlight. Flash is red. All right. Now let's see. Nagoya antenna for Balfang. We got one of Richard's signal sticks is also for a Balfang. We see we've got an adapter here. This is a pigtail. It goes from SO239 to SMA female. A pair of work gloves. You know when winter field day comes along, you're going to want one of these. Finally, and this is rare, even more rare than that pen that John got, Herbie. Yes, it says the actual 5-3 right on it, and it's the love bug, absolutely. So there you go. Those are our prizes for tonight. Again, we'll make this really quick. So, and you get to choose. So whoever gets picked will choose any one of these prizes. Let me just say one more thing. Before we get into this, we only have a couple minutes left. Let me just let you know that next month's grand prize will be a complete HF station. I mean, it'll be an HF radio. It works. It's used, okay? It's one of my stations. I loved it, okay? But don't worry, I'm not trying to get out of, DX or whatever, but I just have too many. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And it's mating tuner, it's mating power supply, and a hand microphone. And the hand microphone is very rare too. It took me all day to find it, and it was under the couch. So, so a complete HF station we're giving away next month as a grand prize. Honestly. I might have to get together with you and kind of show you how to use that radio because it takes a little TLC because it is used. But hey, it works. All right, let's move on. So,
I want to mention, since everybody keeps talking about ARRL, that they can sign up for ARRL through the club and we get to keep some of the.
Thank you, Karen. Very good point. So she says that one thing you can do, anybody who wants to become a member of ARRL or renew can do it through the club. Since we are an ARRL affiliate, you can actually renew through us. And part of that money will actually get kicked back from the ARRL to us. So as a club benefit, so that we get part of that.
One more thing.
Carl.
Remind him about Amazon Smiles. Because we got a lot of new people here.
Oh, yeah, you bet. So, and I'll probably actually post this again on Facebook, but, yeah, if you ever go to Amazon to purchase anything, no one here does, right? Yeah, you all do. Everybody does. They go to Amazon, purchase stuff all the time. When you do, you can either go to www.amazon.com and purchase things and throw away your money, or pay the exact same amount for the same thing that you're trying to buy, and instead go to smile.amazon.com, but then you have to specify a nonprofit organization for which Amazon can donate some money to, Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club, and that organization will receive some of the money that you pay. And you don't pay any extra. Amazon simply gives that Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club money to that organization, and that's us.
Or you can start paying dues.
That's right, you can start asking for dues, which we hope will never happen. So,
Right.
all right, here comes the first winning number for the prize. Here we go. Mike, can I have our drum roll, please?
He didn't do the drum roll last time.
With 6, you get egg roll.
And the number is 670. Dave, come on down. Yay, Dave! Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Do we have 2 winners? We have a tie. 2 people with 6.
670.
70.
6-3.
Might have to 6-7-0.
Oh, sorry, I can't.
Okay. All right, Jared, thank you. Congratulations. You get your pick?
Okay, look at this way and smile.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
Me if I get
Next
in the way.
number is, we gotta move this along quickly so we can get out of here. Because the longer we stay in here, the longer he has to stay here to help clean up. And thank so much to Heath for being here. But without him, we wouldn't even have this place. So appreciate Heath. You know, let's just give him a clap. Thank you, Heath. All right, and yes, he gets grumpy if we stay too late. So next number is 622.
Oh, come on.
What's my number? Clay, welcome. Yay!
Carl wants to on the table.
All right.
Let's see what we got today.
Gloves, membership, pigtail, antenna, Herbie.
I'm gonna do the membership.
Look this way.
Good choice. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
Good job, Clay. Good job, good job. All right, there we go. Next number is 640.
It's me.
Trevor. Yay.
Trevor wins.
Trevor chooses,
I want Herbie.
All right.
Hey, look at this way. Look
Trevor
at this.
chooses the
Hold up, what'd you get?
6.
There we go.
All right. Next is number 657. 657. We have a winner.
The first.
This is Thor, right?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't remember. All right, Thor, what's it gonna be? So antenna, gloves, flashlight, Herb. Herbie it is, all right.
Let's see Herbie.
Right, next number. After this, we're gonna have to go to the winning grand prizes, so we only get to choose one more thing among the antenna, pigtail, flashlight, or work glove. So this number is 661. We have a winner, the man in the blue shirt. What's your name again?
Rick.
Rick.
First
Rick.
time here.
Welcome,
All
Rick.
right.
Glad you're able to win something in your first time. He picks the flashlight. Thank you, Rick. Face the camera, could you please?
Right here, Rick. There we go.
For posterity's sake. All right, now. You will pick one of the 2 grand prize winners. And that person we'll be able to choose between. And actually, actual amateur radio transceiver with battery, or a super duper wonderful antenna. So here we go. Number is. It's not my number. I got too much anyway. 648. Dan, we have a winner. All right, Dan, what's it going to be? Antenna? What are we? You got it.
Right, look this way.
Congratulations.
There we go.
Last one. And number 4, the super duper wonderful antenna. And the number is 6, 2, 0.
That was close.
Art, congratulations.
Art, hey Art.
You are the proud owner now of a great antenna.
All right, you finally got one of my antennas.
This is the second one.
Maybe
I'll make dipoles.
Okay. Could you hold that?
What are you gonna try to do?
All right, well, thank you for coming out. We do have an unofficial part of the meeting after the meeting. If you would like to go over to Wallaby's Smokehouse and join with some of us and talk some more and have a good time together. That'll be after we put up the chairs, which you can also please help out with. And we will see you next month. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Come government.